What's it like growing up in a cult? Well, I wouldn't know because I didn't grow up in one, thankfully. I grew up in an Amish community, and there's a huge difference. There's a few ex-Amish content creators out there who call the Amish a cult, and then other people take their word for it. But these same ex-Amish content creators, just like me, we left the Amish with an 8th grade education. We did not learn about what a cult is or isn't. So if we leave the Amish and then people start talking to us and they're like, oh, you had all these strict rules? That sounds like a cult. You know, I hear that once or twice. All of a sudden, yeah, I grew up in a cult. Because Jamie and Jack over here, they both agreed with me. And they said it was a cult. But guess what? They're just my neighbors. They don't know anything about cults either. So you really have to be, I don't know, you really have to take it with a grain of salt. It's like one guy told me, an English guy that knows the Amish very well. We were discussing about this. And he said, the way I look at it, the people who call the Amish a cult, either they don't understand the Amish very well, or they don't understand cults very well. And I think that's the best way to put it. You know, because most of these people that call the Amish a cult, you know, they don't even know what a real serious cult is or was. Like, they don't even know any history of it. So it's just like, that's an opinion, but it's not fact. And repeating it, and for these people come in and try to rage bait me or troll me, it doesn't matter. God bless you all. Stay. So what is the definition of a cult? Not saying they are, but it seems like it though. So first off, let's establish that religions exist. There's a lot of different religions out there, and that's fine. There's a lot of people who are not religious, and that's okay as well. But even if someone says, I'm not religious, they're acknowledging the existence of religions. If you look up the definition of religion, the Amish fit it to a T. They believe in a higher power. They are Christians. They believe, I was baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They don't believe in a single leader like a cult does. That's the first definition of a cult, is that they usually have a single leader that controls everybody. I've heard some ex-Amish people say that's Jacob Amon. I've never heard his name growing up as, hey, we should idolize this guy. When I was taking baptism classes, they didn't say Jacob Amon said this. They just, you know, told us the rules, but they also told us, you know, scriptural stuff. Our religion was based on the Bible, not on writing someone wrote down, you know. Most of the things that they had scriptural reasons. Now, some of the rules didn't, but that was just because they wanted this environment to raise their kids in. And that's understandable as well. So when it comes down to it, parents are allowed to raise their kids however they want without it being considered a cult. Doesn't matter how strict some parents are, that is their right to raise their children as they see fit. Another thing about a cult is that they control the money of the members. In most Amish communities, the members keep their own money. The church does not. You don't give your check to the bishop and then he decides how much you should get back. That would be more like a cult. And if there's any Amish communities that do that, I would have to say it sounds kind of like a cult. But most of them don't. The bishop doesn't come to our house and interfere with our day-to-day activities. He doesn't come to make sure we're following the rules. We're not being monitored like that. We're free to live our own lives and just follow the rules that we agreed upon. God bless y'all. Raymond Kurtz was looking up definition of a cult. Answer number 3 says that if you're told you go to hell, if you leave, you are in a cult. So if I were to leave Christianity, where would I be going? For all the practicing Christians out there, I'm a Christian. If I were to stop believing, where do you think I would be going? Wouldn't your answer be the same as this if you were being truthful? I don't think that this definition holds any water at all. I think it's a bunch of hypocrisy, to be honest. I was never told that growing up by the church that I would go to hell anyway. I was told that by my parents. So does that make my parents a cult for teaching me what to believe in? You know, that was their prerogative to teach me whatever they wanted. You know, every parent has that right. The bishop, when I left, came to see me, and I asked him specifically, do you think only Amish people are going to make it to heaven? He says no, but it's going to be a lot harder because there's a lot more temptations out here. I remember thinking, yes, that sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait to see some of these temptations, you know. And just because one definition fits does not make it a fact. It's like if you take the definition of a fish, take one of the definitions of a fish, it's probably that they can swim. You know, ducks can swim, bears can swim, dogs can swim, a lot of people can swim. I can't swim, I couldn't be a fish. But you take another definition of being a fish, it's, oh, they eat, you know, small fish, stuff that grows in the water, you know, stuff that lives in the water. You can still, ducks and bears are still fish. You know, alligators are still fish. If you take the definition of grass as something that's green, you know, the trees are grass too. It's just, you really just can't take one definition of a thing. If you take the definition of a lion as being something that has a long tail and forward paws and sharp claws and teeth and, you know, it's a cat, that's still not a lion. Something that is a predator, that's still not a lion, even though they share all the same definitions. God bless you all. Stay safe.